You're broke. I'm broke. We're all fucking broke. What if I told you there was a free, no strings attached game I just found that absolutely blew my mind? A game with a huge handcrafted world map and endless locations to explore, bosses to slay, loot to find, cities to traverse, dungeons to die in, quests to conquer, secrets to uncover, and of course, tunes to listen to. And all in the package of a beautiful Ultima-like RPG with no loot boxes, no battle passes, no forced online, or any of that other stinky popo, all those other supposedly free games forced down your throat. Many would even call this the best free game ever made. That game is Moonring. Moonring is an open-world RPG made by ex-Fable series co-creator and industry veteran Dean Carter, who started going by the indie alias Fluttermind in 2009. A man with a clear talent for making some of the best AAA games ever made over his 14+ year tenure at prestigious studios like Bullfrog Productions and Lionhead Studios, famous for games like Fable and Dungeon Keeper. So why exactly did he transition away from all that glory to making a brand new indie project and giving it away for the low price of... Wait, what the fuck? You're telling me this game is free? Well, perhaps because just like you, dear viewer, and me, he started to see the writing on the wall for the AAA landscape as a medium to express unique and creative ideas as the industry started to become increasingly more and more shareholder focused and profit driven than ever before. And well, just look at where we're at today. But that's just a theory. A Dean theory. And despite some of his prior work setting him up for all the fame and fortune a man could ever ask for, only in creating his new independent game development studio in 2009, also called Fluttermind, and after a good while longer, this neon-lit masterpiece, Moonring, did Dean realize the absolute heights he was capable of. Alone. The studio had a few other games during Dean's early years with Fluttermind, namely Flaboo, The Horns, Spellraiser, and Inkaboto, some of which were even nominated for awards like a BAFTA for Best Mobile and Handheld Game in the case of Inkaboto. But even still, none of them hit the mark quite like Moonring did. And that is for very good reason. Moonring itself was inspired by some of Dean's absolute favorite games and genres of all time, such as the Ultima series, some of the best roguelikes ever made, and even Fable, fusing all their best parts with Dean's very own masterstroke into a single love letter to an era of gaming he and many others grew up with. A mythical era where player freedom was king, imagination was championed over unoptimized game engines that put your $2,000 PC on its knees, and gameplay was the main thing every single developer focused on the most. An era very different to the one we have now. And as it has it, this return to the past would actually create Dean's undeniable magnum opus, a game that would take players, reviewers, and YouTubers alike by storm, with a Steam rating alone of overwhelmingly positive. Probably the most accurate Steam rating I've ever seen for the immense value this game brings to the table for its price. So why haven't you heard about it until clicking this video, you ask? And to that I say, we only recently discovered that sea barnacles have peckers up to 8 times their body size. Sometimes the most important things just have a funny way of finding you. Like Moonring. If you're really on the cynical side though, you might be thinking,
nothing in life's really free. There's always some kind of cost, like that PS5 Pro my 97-year-old sugar mommy got me for Christmas. God, did I pay the price for that one.
ugh. Way too much info, bro. Also, you're wrong, because one thing in life really is 100% free. Oh my god, can you guess what it is? Can you guess what I'm about to say? Subscribing! And, well, Moonring. No microtransactions, no battle passes, no sign-ups, no loot boxes, no wasting your time, no FOMO, no data harvesting, and certainly no screaming toddlers eating their microphone like it's a bowl of cereal in your 2 AM rank reset lobby. This is a truly free game for the men of culture. And with all that nonsense finally out of the way, let's get that little chocolate starfish of yours all puckered up and ready for all the mind-blowing mechanics that really make Moonring not just an amazing free game, not just one of my favorite games of all time, but truly the best free game ever made. Moonring is a game you unks can think of a bit like if, from a gameplay standpoint, roguelikes like NetHack and Angband had a great grandchild with full-feature neon retro tiles and a completely open-ended world to explore in whatever way you want. Freshly seasoned with its very own main quest and tons of side stories to find out about. Oh, and minus the permadeath, unless you really enjoy breaking things. It entirely takes place on the continent of Caldera, almost reminding me a bit of the Elder Scrolls with its specially handcrafted and particularly large map with all kinds of intriguing marked locations, major cities that clearly took inspiration from somewhere, Wintershoal, more like Winterhorde, am I right? As well as ruins and dungeons to loot, all set with classic spooky monsters guarding them. All it's really missing is a pompous black dude who constantly berates you. Maybe it's better off without that, actually.
Okay. So the world is good, we got a boss. But what about the gameplay?
Whoops. I'm sorry. I mistook you for a pack of wild beasts. Name's John the Hunter. I overheard your friend here talk about the wonders of combat, and boy am I glad you asked. You lovely little chap. On this continent, we warriors that roam this vast, unforgiving world each dedicate ourselves to a god of our choosing. A choice between the Lords of Dust, the Blind Angels, Death's Jester, Lady of the Sanguine Moon, and last but not least, whom I dedicate myself to, the Great Wolf.
Baby, I'm playing on you tonight.
Wait, what the hell was that? Anyway, these gods each offer their own unique boons and drawbacks, ranging from increasing strength but punishing retreat to boosting intellect while penalizing witchcraft.
So just like in the 1500s, except instead of high intellect wizards, it was a bunch of low intellect incels?
Sure friend, I don't know what you're talking about. We have a certain amount of energy we can utilize on our gifts from these gods you may know typically as abilities. And much like the harlot I bade last moon in Herodus, that energy can run out quicker than you think. So be careful and conserve it only for the strongest of foes when you are in real danger. Apart from using your gifts, you can also just bump into enemies completely for free. Like this!
Damn, you nasty, man.
Why yes, it is nasty. Nasty for the enemies that encounter me while I'm equipped with this monstrous blade Athrona I found in the temple to the west of Hearthaven. Anyway, it's time for me to go become the next Archon, succeeding Elwed. Caldera needs saving, so I'll be seeing you both. There's a terrible mist in the air, so stay safe, friends.
Well, I don't know if that dude's surviving for long, considering how much I died early on. But I best explain some of the things he was mentioning, as you must be pretty confused right now. For starters, you can think of any of the stats he mentioned consisting totally of strength, finesse, intellect, perception, and endurance in typical simple RPG terms. And by dusting off your noggin for once, I believe you can put 2 and 2 together.
Strength boost bonk. Endurance boost bonk you take. Perception boost eyes.
And so on. You can only boost these stats by giving devotional tears you find scattered around the world to certain gods, that will only give you their specific stat of choice, as there's no traditional leveling system in Moonring. So choose wisely, as devotional tears are a very limited resource, just like all those men of the sea you constantly waste sloshing around down yonder. And likewise, you can only rarely increase your HP by finding Hot Contain. Oh wait, wrong script. This ain't that game about the green fairy twink who goes around yelling, "Yeah!" Swiftly moving on. Each god he mentioned also belongs to a respective city on the map. For example, Herodus, how could I forget, houses the main base of operations for the Death's Jester. And the Red Grove is where you'll find the Lady of the Sanguine Moon followers. I would hazard a guess that he came here from Wintershoal, as that's where the Great Forest Wolf, deity of strength, resides. And the fact that he was borderline naked. People born in Wintershoal naturally develop an extreme resistance to the cold. What? Don't ask me how I know. Weapons and armor can also be found anywhere in the world, from shops in cities to chests in dungeons, so at least that part of the game will feel extremely familiar to anyone who's played an RPG. of any variety. And overall, there are two main weapon types that you can utilize to murderize all the foes along your journey. Regular melee weapons like swords, daggers, axes, and more, and ranged weapons like bows, wands, and throwing daggers that you can use to pick away at enemies from afar.
So kinda like this.
Who the hell are you?
Okay, you got me. I'm just a lowly thief hailing from Harrodus. The name's Marvin. Starving Marvin. I'm sorry for trying to take your wallet there, sir, but I've got a family to feed, you know?
Give me one reason I shouldn't immediately slice your balls off and string you up to a tree.
Whoa. Well, I overheard you talking about ranged weapons just a moment ago. I happen to be a kind of a connoisseur of the ranged variety. Been training since I was 3. Maybe I could explain to your friend here all I know about him.
Ugh. I don't trust this guy. Go on then, Marvin.
Thank you, sir. Well, it's actually really simple. You can equip whatever ranged weapon best suits your needs, whether that be a bow or a wand, and a little range meter should show up around you. You're already halfway there. Now all you need to do is point your weapon at an enemy and fire to blow their head clean off. Simple as that. Being able to kill enemies at range without even having to risk losing any poise really is a lifesaver. Well,
Oh my god. This world really is just as unforgiving as I remember it. Something trying to kill us at every other step we take. You good, friend? Because we're only just getting started here. Okay, that's good. I don't see any injuries on you either. We should be safe in this cavern over here for a little while. Before he got sent to the Shadow Realm, I noticed he mentioned poise, which is something that's super important for you to know about if you want to survive in this world alone for more than even just a second. Think of it a bit like an overshield that starts off at 100% and gradually decreases every time you take a hit until it reaches 0, but also regenerates over time too. And for every hit you take after that, you will take HP damage, which can only be restored by drinking potions, resting at inns, or in other limited ways. In other words, you really don't want to take HP damage at all. So managing your poise wisely is essential to not just survive on Caldera, but thriving as the hunky chunky warrior I know you want to become. And you want to survive a little longer than our friend Marvin over there, don't you? There are so many other gameplay elements I'd love to teach you about, like Moonring's hunger system, sneaking mechanics, luck, statuses, carry weight, and so much more. But in all honesty, a lot of them are very self-explanatory. So I think it'd be better if I move on to some of the game's other aspects instead. And besides, I think we're being actively tracked by a raiding party.
So let's speed things up a bit, eh? Before we become ground beef.
As soon as you begin your journey for the very first time, you will awaken in a mysterious cottage in a place called Yarrow with only one other villager around, a woman called Celera. As strange, unnatural neon colors illuminate everything around you, showing something isn't quite right. A peculiar woman who seemingly only goes on about dreams and other strange things, making you question if everyone has simply gone mad, or if you yourself are actually the mad one. To you right now, this is a bunch of mumbo jumbo. But to the later version of you that's already 100% this game 5 times over with every single playstyle, this makes as much sense as plugging Lego studs up your butt. Just a me thing? And after finishing a short beginner dungeon behind Yarrow's graveyard, you make your way into the wide world of Caldera. And wide she is. Immediately noticing that these neon colors aren't simply exclusive to Yarrow, but also seemingly the entire rest of the continent you're on. And also randomly pulsate between different hues.
Making things real trippy, dude.
I say seemingly because the game is also broadly inspired by a lot of old school roguelikes. So you won't actually notice just how large the world is at first, because most of it will be obscured by black mist that will be progressively filled in as you continue exploring, just like in games like Tales of Magiol and Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. And great googly schmoogly! With 6 major cities, hundreds of places to go like ruins and dungeons with their own unique puzzles and discoveries, temples that offer humongous boons like Bjorn alluded to earlier, a massive sea to sail, I know what you are, and a constant flow of ever-changing world encounters like combats with bandits, animal hunting, and herb gathering. I can assure you the wonderful world of Caldera will do everything but bore you. As you continue playing, you'll also naturally progress the main quest of the game by exploring the world more and more and arriving at each of the 6 different cities, which I won't spoil since once again, I believe this is definitely a part of every game that will be best served blind. But what I will say is that it's a classic RPG romp with plenty of twists and turns where you'll face all kinds of ugly beasties and meet all kinds of intriguing characters along the way. Some great, and some not so great. Oh, and it even has multiple endings depending on the choices you make throughout the game, somehow lending it even more replayability for its price tag. Of course, you can't have a good old RPG without side quests, and I'm happy to report this game has plenty of those teeming around every corner too, meaning you will go off the beaten track a lot, if you want to. From tracking down and slaying gigantic sea monsters with your ship to noting down riddles from various areas across the map, this game has it all. And its overall non-linearity that is also found in the main quest itself really helps each and every playthrough feel like a unique and emergent experience that you will actually want to keep coming back to, owing to its roguelike roots once again. All of this is neatly wrapped up in a bow you've been seeing throughout this entire video. Some of the cleanest and most unique visuals I've ever seen in this type of game by Wayne Imlach that serve an actual lore purpose and some of the best vibes you'll ever find. Perfectly complemented by one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in an RPG, period. Composed entirely by Fluttermind, Canned, and Battle, really making you feel like you're not just playing another video game, but deeply immersed into a mysterious world as a living, breathing participant of the grand adventure your character is currently undertaking. Aha! Looks like I finally found a way out of this hellish cave after all. Quick! Let's go through this trapdoor before they... You're missing this. Wait. Do my eyes deceive me? Is that you, Bjorn? We thought you died, but boy am I glad to see you instead of those... Oh! I see you already dealt with them. Well, that makes things easy. Oh, trust me, things for you two won't be easy. Especially now I've been informed that your friend here, dear viewer, has a bounty in Wintershall. A bounty I'm here to clear once and for all. Run! Phew. I told you, Caldera ain't safe, but then again, that's kind of the whole fun of exploring these worlds in the first place, eh? Anyway, this is what free games should be. Not the perverted mess that mega corporations have tried for years and years to get you addicted to with their endless live service games. Games that end up trying to extract more and more out of you year after year, lulling you in with the shiny front cover of a supposed $0 price tag, purposefully hiding the true expense of these games, that in reality cost way more than even your typical $70 game ever would. Battle passes that keep you constantly spending, loot boxes that keep you addicted, daily missions giving you FOMO, skill-based matchmaking that 1 minute makes you feel on top of the world, and the next a total noob that has to avenge that horrible match he just had. A server that will inevitably shut down when you want it to the least. Friends that constantly tell you to hop on at 2 AM, keeping you hooked into the loop until the next big game comes around to turn you into its little princess instead. Ugh, friends, am I right? Well, Moonring is a game that does away with all of that, especially the friends part. And that is why it and games like it are the ultimate antidote to the industry's corporate greed that is rinsing us all out left, right, and center. A game that lets you download it completely for free with zero additional monetization practices and play it from beginning to end in its entirety with every single piece of content completely available to you. Every single dungeon, every single city, every single quest completely for free. The only paid DLC the game has is a completely optional dungeon I didn't even touch in all my time spent with the game. Essentially a glorified donation the developer created because people were genuinely so mad that they could not give him their money for such an amazing experience that he basically had to. Which should tell you everything you need to know about the quality of Moonring as a free game. This kind of stuff almost sounds like a fairy tale or a scam in this modern gaming climate, but I'm here to tell you that not only does this amazing game really exist, but that there are thousands more just like it that I'm super excited to tell you about on the channel moving forward. By the way, you should totally join my super duper exclusive awesome Discord server where we talk about all these kinds of games and more. I'm never escaping the Discord mod allegations, am I? And in the same vein, it's not just a game, it's a massive middle finger to the current state of the industry and the value the current companies offer you, yes you, watching this video. Every second of a game like this that you play and support, instead of engaging in all the other predatory practices the mainstream industry is trying to force feed the masses, is an act of rebellion. Plain and simple. An act that shows all these gaming companies that you are worth more than the bullshit they're currently peddling. And as blockbuster games like GTA 6 lock content behind $100 paywalls, Sony starts to phase out physical copies of all games in their upcoming consoles to completely control the supply chain, Nintendo start charging for the pleasure of properly utilizing the hardware you already paid for, and Xbox lays off thousands of talented and hardworking developers and kills off some of the most hyped games we've ever had. We have never needed player first, genuinely exceptional free games from passionate indie developers like Moonring more. Games that put gameplay first. Games that respect the player as a human being and not just another dollar sign. Games that are creative and actually push the boundaries like the best games of old. Games that you can play forever without spending a dime. And with an upcoming sequel to boot. Some would even call it the best free game ever made. And hey, if that video planked your plankton, why not check this one out about the most replayable game ever made?